These videos I make of things that we should know on guitar are pretty much impromptu. I think of something that I'm practicing or that I'm playing or um, that I'm doing that I think is something that everybody should know how to do on guitar and either know how to do or know about or just should know, be aware of. And so, one thing that's crossed my mind is that we really should know where all the notes are on our fretboard. So, regardless of whether you're a new player or intermediate or more advanced, if you don't know where all the notes are on your guitar on the fretboard, then that's a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage because it really impacts your ability to navigate the fretboard and think quickly about where to go and what to do. It's something that you should work on and you should test yourself. So let's take E for example. We've got our two open strings, and then we have E, so we have a bunch of E's, right? I think I counted 12. We've got the two open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 E notes, but we only have 4 octaves. So we can think of those as bass. We go up to tenor, and we go up to alto, and we go up to soprano. So those are the notes that we have in E, and we should know where those notes are. And we should recognize that we have different timbres. I mean, you can hear the difference in the timbre of those notes. And you want to be familiar with those because as you're deciding where you want to play and what kind of sound you want in a melody or improvisation, then you should be familiar with what timbre that particular register is going to give you. We've got this octave. We'll just play an E major scale in that octave, right? From the tenor to the alto. Then we know what that sound is like. But if we play that same on different strings in a different position, we get a different timbre. And it is really a completely different sound, right? And it has its purpose. And it really, it's an all, there's no wrong. You play what you feel. You play where you think it sounds good to you for whatever it is that you're playing, right? Whatever the song is, however you're trying to interpret your expression, then you pick a position and a timbre that fits that mood, fits that feeling. And so that's why you want to know where all these notes are so that you can get to them real quick, right? So if you decide you want to get up high, then you can move to it. And without hesitation. And you want to do that with all notes. You want to be able to do that with all the notes on the fretboard, right? So I would suggest if you don't know all of your frets, all of your notes on your fretboard, that you at least start with the notes that equate to the strings of the guitar: E, B, G, D, A, and E, and learn where all those are. So you get your A. Get all your A's in, so you're familiar with those are. And the same with the D's. right? Get familiar with where all the D's are. And same with G, right? Oh, right? My mind's going faster than my fingers are. And then same with B, right? So, be familiar with those so that you can get at them, pretty quickly without really having to think about it. You don't want to be hunting and pecking, right? And so if you start with the ones that are, with the strings, because, I would recommend that simply because they equate to, our cowboy chords. And if you're kind of a beginner or you're not playing in odd keys, then those are the notes you're going to come across the most. That way you're oriented, right? You get yourself oriented based on the notes, and it's just something you have to practice. And you should spend time practicing that. Then, when you feel comfortable with those notes, you really want to move into some other keys, particularly if you're going to get into other styles of music, particularly jazz, for example, where you're going to play a lot in B flat. You're going to have songs in A flat. You're going to have songs in E flat, right? So you're going to want to know where all those notes are. You want to know where all your E flats are, what all your A flats are. You want to know where your notes are. Understanding the timbre associated with the notes really gives you a lot of options, and that's what you want when you're playing melodies and you're playing solos. You want to have options available to you. You don't want to be stuck in a rut playing in one position. You want to be able to move around the fretboard. And so understanding where the notes are and what the timbres are that are related to those notes will take you a long ways in getting where you need to go to be a better player.